So this is going to be our take 2. Now, homeschooling your high schooler. This topic is very important to me because I have a senior this year. She's my first, and I feel like we are in uncharted territory. Can anybody else relate? Before we start, let's be sure we understand credits. Now, to earn 1 high school credit, your child needs to work 3.5 to 5 hours a week for 36 weeks. To earn half a credit, they would only have to work 18 weeks. So that's what I'm referring to when I say credits. For instance, some states might require 4 credits of science. Certain courses that they have to have, like for science it would be biology and physical science, but then they make suggestions of others, like marine biology, chemistry, or physics, that you can fill in the other 2 with. Now, how do we start planning? First, start with your state requirements. These can be found on your state education website. You can also find, if you have a homeschool group for the state, this is what ours look like. I just asked for this information and got it in the mail. Tells me what subject, tells me how many credits I have to have, tells me some things that they have to have, essentials, and some other things to consider. You need to look at this before your 9th grade year so you can plan. When your child, second thing you need to do is make a plan. For each year, 9th grade through 12th grade, it does have to have some flexibility, but you want to make sure that you get what you need every year. So, for instance, like the sciences that need 4 credit, plan to take 1 science every year. Now, thirdly, this is the biggest step and usually the hardest. You need to keep a record of everything your child does in a year. This is what mine looks like. It's a homeschool planner, and at the beginning of this planner, I have all of the courses that my daughter took, what curriculum we used, who taught it if it wasn't me, how many credits. I explained, like if it's a science, if there was a lab, if it's a math, I explained the concepts that they studied. So everything is very detailed in there about what they did. You need to keep a portfolio of what they do that year. For instance, keep a reading list. If they wrote a paper, some of the tests that they took, you can keep a folder on your desk and put those things in there as you accumulate them. You also need to keep a record of any volunteer work that they do or job shadowing. Now, you might ask, why does my child need to do volunteer work? Well, let me tell you, colleges are looking very closely at this, and it shows that your student has a good work ethic and that they can help out in the community. For instance, my daughter helps me every year teach Vacation Bible School music. Now, by music, I mean 3 hours of aerobic activity every day. We have 4 classes of about 50 students, and there's lots of motions, there's lots of fun. It's a very tiring time, and my daughter helps me with that every year. We also lead the music in the opening assembly. This year, my daughter also wrote the skit that we used in opening assembly. So I wrote down all the hours that she practiced the music. I wrote down all the hours that she helped me in class, and I kept the script. Those would count towards her volunteer hours. And that is just something that I did, that I pulled her in along with me, and she found out she liked it, so we keep doing it. So use what you have and what you do for volunteer hours. The other thing is, my daughter loves horses, and we have some horses here at our house. And last Christmas, she wanted to earn some money for the missions offering that we were taking at church. And we always have people ask to come over and ride the horses. So she decided that she would put it out there for a few days. She would be giving some mini horse lessons and horse care lessons. And they could come over and pay a small fee and get to ride the horse as she led it around, and learn about how to take care of their hooves, what they eat, and brush them and touch the horse. It was a lot of fun. The kids had a lot of fun. The parents were right there with us, and Emma earned about $75 that she gave to the church for the missions offering. So that I'm going to count as her volunteer hours also. Now, these things show initiative, creativity, and responsibility and accountability. So if your child likes animals, you can try volunteering at the animal shelter. If there's a food bank in town, you can go volunteer there. But all those things, write them down. They accumulate, and colleges really, really pay a lot of attention to that. Also, anytime that my child helped out in something at church or participated in something in church, I kept the program. So when she sang with us with our Christmas musical, has her name on it, I kept the program. When she helped teach the children's choir and did the motions for that, has her name on it, I kept the program. So all that kind of stuff would be in her portfolio for that year. Now, why do you need to keep all this stuff? Is a transcript just enough? No, it isn't just enough. A transcript is kind of like a tax return. The tax return, you gather all your information, you fill in your tax return, you send it to the IRS. Now, if they have a question, they're going to come back and want to look at all of your information. So it's important to keep that for the IRS, and it's important to keep all of our information in case colleges have any questions. Another thing we need to keep is a reading list. So all that stuff should be kept with their transcript in their portfolio. Now, the fourth thing you need to do is, after you've done the transcript each year, you have a portfolio for each year. After it's all done, you need to get a diploma. You need to write or make a diploma somehow, and you can get one from the HSLDA or homesschooldiplomas.com. Some of them are free, some of them are minimal charge. And the last thing you need to do is plan a special event. Now, there's a great article about this on our schoolhouseteachers.com about making a homeschool graduation ceremony and party. It gives you a timeline, it gives you ideas, it gives you a list of what you need to do. And that's something that we're going to do next year when my daughter graduates. We have a date picked out, we're inviting family and friends, and it's going to be all about my daughter. She's going to maybe give a speech or dramatic reading, show some artwork, and then maybe we can have a pastor come and say a few words. Her dad will give her a diploma, and then we get to eat cake. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be all about her. If you don't want to do just one for yourself, and your child's graduating with some friends, you could even get together and do a graduation ceremony for just a couple of you. Now, you still have questions. I understand. What do we put on the transcript? How do I choose classes? What can be a class? Well, you can actually be creative. Hunter education can be part of physical education. Cooking at home, if they're reading if they're picking the menu and they're reading the cookbook and they're making it and doing the measurements, that could be part of a home ec class. So discuss this with your child and figure out what's good for you and your family and come up with a plan. There's lots of things around your home that could be these electives. Give them some input. They would really like that, and they would enjoy it better. Did you know there's actually ways for them to earn college credit when they're going to high school? Something called dual enrollment is when your child takes a class from either a community college or some of the high schools offer them, but it counts as a high school credit and it counts as a college credit. Now, there's some colleges that offer it online, so your child can even do it from your home. But there's two things you need to remember about this. One is that you need to be sure that the college that your child's thinking about attending, that they will accept this college, the dual credit, whether it be from a community college or online or whatever. Make sure those two will work. And the second thing is you do not want to do a dual credit class that will be in your child's major. For instance, my child's going to be a science major, and so she does not need to do any of her science classes in dual enrollment. She's going to do composition. A core class would be better for that. And also remember that this grade counts for your college GPA. So you want them to be sure that they're not overwhelmed, maybe just do one or two at a time, and that they make a good grade. The other thing your child can do is take a CLEP test. These are tests that your student can take. They don't get a grade for the class, but they do get an exemption from taking the class. And what that means is it doesn't count or hinder your GPA, but it does eliminate something off their load when they go to class, into college. Now, once again, you do not want to take something that's going to be in your major, and Did any of you do this when you went to college? Because I sure did. I clept out of 9 hours. That was a great thing for me. Did you also know that your child can take a AP class, an AP test, even if they have not taken the AP class? Now, if your child's a good test taker and they did exceptionally well in the class, you can try taking an AP test, and depending on what they make on the test is what they would get in the class. Now, all these options are so much cheaper and much more affordable than actually taking a class the freshman year of college. So think about these things. They would really help your child graduate on time, or perhaps graduate with a double major. Just gives them a little head start. And like I said, it works for high school and college. Now, do you have a subject that you feel like you can't teach? See if you can barter. We're doing chemistry this year, and I did not even take chemistry in high school, and I did not really know what we were going to do about the labs. So I realized I had a friend at church that is a chemist, and so I decided to contact him, and he was just thrilled over the moon to be able to help us. And we're going to do some intensive someday with him and get all of the chemistry lab done, but he was more than willing to help, and it was something very exciting for him. Also, you can join a co-op. We've done science labs through a co-op. We've done drama through a co-op, music, all kinds of stuff. Or you can hire a tutor. There's also options where you can take an online class with a live teacher if it's something you're not comfortable teaching, and they might need some help with that. Now, all the things that we've talked about today can be found on schoolhouseteachers.com. Now, I'm telling you, there's a ton of information on there. And let's look at some of it. Hang on just a minute. Okay, see, I'm under resources, and I went to high school help. Now, what we want to do is scroll down here. And there are 4 articles down here. College Success Begins at Home. I have that article pulled up here. And this is actually an ebook that is 116 pages. And I started reading it this week, and I'm telling you, it is full of information. It has got some great stories about how different parents worked with different students and found ways that they would help them, and encouraging, inspiring stories, stories about how to do all kinds of stuff. So I would recommend reading that one. Another one to read would be Homeschooling the High Schooler, From Transcripts to Graduation. Another good, see, that one is 82 pages. Another good resource of stuff. And I would encourage you to go in and look at that. There's also a schoolhouse planner. Now, this has 400 pages. So we're not going to go through all the 400 pages, but I'm going to let you look at the table of contents. If you wanted to pick and choose which pages you actually print, they have different kinds of calendars. They have double page, single page, 1 year, 2017 or 2018. They have lined calendars. They have all kinds of articles about how to, for the parent and for the child. They have informational lists, like books of the Bible, and Latin roots, Greek roots, poetry, measurement conversions, 13 colonies, U.S. presidents, history timeline. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's homeschool forms. There's planners, course of study, academic goals, weekly goals, daily goals. It's important to have goals so your child knows where they're going. It has a place to keep attendance if your state requires that. It has week at a glance. It has a high school transcript if you wanted to use that one. Course of study has all kinds of checklists, and I'm not going to go through that all, but it is some great information. Now, let's go back to our main page here. And we're going to keep going down. Here we have the academic weighting for transcripts. It tells you, if you're looking at some of the classes on schoolhouseteachers.com, what to give them as far as how many credits. This is the Apple Core reading system, record keeping, sorry, and we're going to go over that some other day because that's a really neat system. Has some college help and some career exploration there. Here it has some high school printouts. Now this is all kinds of organizational charts and different transcripts and different planners that you can print out and use to help you stay organized and to help you stay focused. Now this is the high school planner that I showed you about. There's quick links also. Have some great information. If you go to Homeschool Laws by State, this takes you to the HSLDA website, and it gives you actual information according to which state you live in and the requirements for homeschooling in that state. Now, the classes with credits takes you to a page that has some of the recommendations from schoolhouseteachers.com about the different classes in our high school area that might count as credit classes for you. Now, this doesn't mean it's a complete list. You can make anything a credit class. My daughter's doing the government class, and all she needs is half a credit, and it's 18 weeks long, and it has work every day. So she's doing that for her government half credit. It's not listed on here, but I know it will work, so we're gonna use that. Now, there are many, many, many resources on schoolhouseteachers.com that will help you. So read, ask questions on our Facebook group page. Lots of things in there that we can help you with. But you know what? Sometimes we get too caught up in the credits and core classes and grades and transcripts and essays. But let's not. God reminded me of one important thing as I was reading and studying for all this today. Good character matters. And it's one of the reasons that I decided to homeschool my kids, is so that I can impart God's wisdom into them. And so high school for my kids, and probably for yours, needs to be a foundation of good character. High school is a time to strengthen their walk with God, encourage them to have a quiet time, and to pray for God's wisdom. They need to see us in our daily walk, having our quiet time and seeking God for wisdom. We need to develop their leadership skills and strengthen their study habits, teach them how to make good friends and keep them. We need to teach them how to learn and teach them how to be teachable. That's a very important skill that employers look for later down the road. College professors look for that too. We need to love them, listen to them, give them opportunities to grow and to learn and even fail. Because that is actually a skill, to learn how to fail and get back up again and figure out what you did wrong and how to fix it for next time. We only have these kids for a short time, so let's not waste it. Deuteronomy 6:7 in the Bible tells us, "You shall teach them diligently," them meaning the laws of God. "Teach them diligently to your sons, and talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up." In other words, we're supposed to teach our student God's laws and His words all the time through our regular activities. So as you prepare your students to enter high school, maybe you're already there like I am, remember this. What is our goal? Yes, we want to have a good student, and that needs to be one of our goals. But our main goal needs to be to raise a godly adult. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.